The 2015 Polyglot Gathering is brought to you by italki. Become fluent in any language.
A computer dictionary, Komputeko. So Komputeko is a computer terminology collection. It's a website and a paper dictionary. I can show it to you later. I once read, have you heard of Simon Sinek? He's a very famous author, and he says that every presentation.
I have heard, but I know that this person exists, but currently I cannot recall what.
Yeah, he read a book and he says you have to start with why.
People don't do.
You have to start with why and then.
People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do.
Why? So why did I start this project? That's the key answer. Why did I start it? Well, and one of the main things is like you need time and it should be fun. That's the two things that help a lot if you want to start with the project. And also what helped a lot is that I was collecting computer words anyway for work because I was working as I was working on the localization of software. I'll come to that later. And yeah, I also am active in the Esperanto movement, this constructed language, and people told me that every word can be translated into Esperanto. So I was wondering if all these computer words that I was working on at work could also be translated into Esperanto, if I could find them easily online. So I wanted to prove this statement, check what is already available, and help all those translation teams that were working on software translation. Also, one of my things was that before I was working on a lot of projects at once, a little bit, but I thought, yeah, it's better if I pick one or two projects and I work them out thoroughly. It's then you have more a better result. So I picked Wikipedia and Komputeko. So Wikipedia project, the online encyclopedia, and computer words in Esperanto as a hobby to work these things out. So what did I want to do with this idea is I wanted to train my presentation skills and have hands-on workshops. So sit with people, explain them about Wikipedia and about computer words to promote and to collaborate. So I wanted to try this. And it really helped me a lot because I was very shy before, and so I could work on my skills that way. So that's a big why for me too. And also, I always wanted to create my own website, but yeah, you need content, you need an idea to do something with it.
You also need, if you have a blog or something like that, you also need a target audience.
Yeah, a target audience, so people that are interested, and it has to be very specific.
Yeah, that's true.
And, so, yeah, when I started in 2006 on this project, I was working in an Excel file. So, when I did localization, in fact, my boss did not give me the decent tools. I had no access to online dictionaries or even paper dictionaries. He barely gave me the tools, so I really needed to search all these translations myself online. And when I took 10 minutes or 15 minutes sometimes to find a word, because sometimes it's very specific, very hard to find, I thought, yeah, I need to write it down somewhere. So I compiled a list. Yeah, I compiled a list of words from English to Dutch, to French, and to German, because I worked in those four languages. Most software came from America. It was Vectorworks, CAD software, computer-aided design, and I needed to translate it to Dutch and French, and sometimes to German. Also once translated from German into Dutch and French. So I had this list, and at a certain point my boss didn't give me much work, and I had some time. I was wondering, well, those words, I can say them in 4 languages, how would that be called in Esperanto? So I was starting to search it, and I added the column Esperanto. Certain time I had 2,600 computer words, items, and yeah, I started, I had this idea, I want to start this project, and I had aims to help people find translation easily and for free. So not only in Esperanto, but also in national languages. And also to stimulate the use of correctly translated menu items and texts. Because I found out that even programs that you buy, sometimes the translation is very bad.
Is it also the case in OpenOffice?
I come to that, yeah. So I joined the OpenOffice translation team, but I'll come to that later. Yeah. So I wanted to stimulate collaboration between translation teams, especially in Esperanto, because they all tended to work on their own and have like Firefox translated with specific words, and another software like OpenOffice, and they use their own words. And if you put it together on a computer, it's not good. So I wanted to unify a little bit the languages. So okay, I did it just in Excel. It's not complicated technologically. People ask me, why do you not use a wiki? Well, I like Wikipedia a lot, but a wiki is not that suitable for a dictionary because it has to be coherent. And I tried a lot to collaborate with other people on the dictionary, but yeah, I think it's better if one person has the overview of it all to have quality and coherence of the work. I thought I'll just start and we can improve later on how we do it technologically with a database, a collaboration tool. Also, I decided that the data would be available freely without copyright, and that I needed a unique name. So I came to Komputeko. Why is a unique name important? I can show you in Google Live. If you are looking for a computer dictionary, say, I'm interested in this word, and you type Komputeko, then you immediately have a link to the website with the computer words and to the Wikipedia article on the project. So it's pretty perfect, in fact. Because sometimes if you have a company, you're on the third or the fourth tab, and it's not good. People cannot. If people try to find you and they can't, it's not a good sign. So I've been looking for a good name. Also, if you type computer woordenles, which is Dutch for a computer dictionary, if
computer word is
yeah. If the internet is working correctly, which it is not, but then you have Komputeko on the first page. It's very important to be found.
Yeah.
If people are looking for words and computer lists, that you are found. So I worked with a lot of people from different websites, so they link to me in order to improve my visibility on the internet. It's not working.
You combined the word Komputeko with other search words to have it listed on Google on a high place.
Yeah, I put some words on the page, so Google would find it. If you put a computer list or in different languages, you might find Komputeko as a result in Google.
That's good, yeah.
I cannot elaborate on the subject because I'm not but it's important to be found for a project. Here you have the description. So see, you type computer word list. You have 2, and the third one is mine. So it's very high in Google. Which are the resources that I used? I have this one.
Yeah.
Can show you. It's a computer dictionary, English Esperanto from 1985 already. So it's a long
But
time
it's
ago.
old for computer things, huh? Because it's old.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. So I have a lot
Yeah.
of resources,
Yeah.
but I also took this one.
Okay.
So you can perhaps have a look. Also thought it would be too old, but I was surprised to see that many of the words in Esperanto are still used today. Unlike other resources, that was not the case. But, for this one, it was really a good basis for it. So I used Komputeko Lexicono from 1996. Is in fact one of the best ones in Esperanto for the Esperanto part. Technica Vortaro was an online dictionary I found with words translated from English to Polish and Esperanto, and some other. And also one of the most important is OpenOffice. I joined the team. And you see here, more than 1,000 words come from the OpenOffice Word file. So in fact, I was working with those people that translated OpenOffice, but the words, all the conclusions of that team were not available to others. So I thought, I can collect them, I can take them out, and make them available to everyone that is working on software.
So OpenOffice now exists in Esperanto
Yeah.
as well.
Libreoffice, in fact, is available in Esperanto now.
Okay.
I can show you a screenshot later. This gives an idea of which resources I've been using. So I've also worked with people from the Academia de Esperanto, so the Académie de Esperanto, and with a lot of translation teams. So I've also worked with Chuck Smith that translated some software into Esperanto with from Drupal. Chuck was working on. At KDE from Linux people. So that's to give an idea. I went to Cambridge in 2007, and we were working there on OpenOffice translation. It was very funny. It was a whole weekend in Cambridge, and people were like, how are we gonna translate it? We'll call to Bertilo from the Academy of Esperanto to Sweden. So they called to Sweden especially for a word, etc. It's a bit freaky, but I thought, well, if they put all this energy into this project, it's really a shame that it is not shared with the world. So the result of their work is now it is shared with the world through Komputeko. This is a screenshot of OpenOffice, Libreoffice.
Is Libreoffice always connected to Linux?
No, it's available for Windows, Mac, and Linux.
Oh, okay.
It's it's a fork of OpenOffice, so it's like OpenOffice, but not exactly the same. It's a different team that works on it.
But are these Esperanto translations also available for like the Apache OpenOffice project? Like after after Oracle and some let go.
I'm not sure how it works technically.
Okay.
How these people work with it nowadays. It was SVN. Do you know SVN? Yeah, it was in SVN, so I suppose it's still available in that.
But there is no coordination anymore between the OpenOffice people and the Libreoffice people for translation.
I'm not sure who is working on that right now. I just work on this website with the words, and I try to keep it up to date. So once a year, I update it with a couple of hundreds of new computer words, and people that translate and keep software up to date, they just go to my website and they check
Okay.
the words there.
Yeah, I'm asking because I was involved in the open office project, but more on the software side myself, not really on the language.
Ah, yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know which wars are being fought between those people. So for the other languages, I found lists from Apple and Microsoft and other companies, and I integrated them into my my list. I can show you an example of it. So you have Komputeko website, for example, here. So if you search for the word mouse, then you get it just searches within whole of a text file, in fact, technology there. And then you have a column with Esperanto results, Dutch, German, and French. And the Esperanto is I put most of the time in having high quality Esperanto translations, and the Dutch, German, and French I took from Microsoft and other resources that I could download and add easily. But it's pretty extensive. If you see,
Is it now limited to these 5 languages, or is it?
yeah, I don't have time to keep everything up to date, but I made a trial here.
For me, it's perfect because I speak all of these languages, but there may be other people who perhaps speak other languages.
Yeah, so I started with this one.
Oh.
So English, Esperanto, Spanish, Polish, and Catalan.
Okay.
But I was a little bit too ambitious because it's not possible as a human to.
And in which
To do that.
language did you write this? Besides Angle, Esperanto?
Yeah, it's in Esperanto, but it's just a test. It's a test, huh? Because she was asking,
But because it is, I see that is at E and not at A.
yeah, it's Esperanto for in English, in Spanish.
Ah.
Yeah.
I like an adverb, not like
Adjective is right.
Yeah, but I limit to I limit to these 5 languages for now because a lot of people have come to me and they say, I want to help. What can I do? And then I send them the letter A. And I never hear from them because they're so impressed with the work that you need to put in it. The time, it's really time consuming, you can imagine. So people also technically they say, how can I help to improve the website? And then I have 1 meeting, 2 meetings, and there's no 3rd meeting because they realize it's not that easy. Yeah. So how did this thing evolve? I had contact with Przemek, a Polish programmer, and he surprised me with a website, and I still use it today. First version of the website. We got our own domain name in June of 2007, and I had 4,000 translated items, and I had a first paper version for proofreading. So the idea was, in fact, at first to have a paper version, so you could give it to someone and he could check it and send me feedback. It's easier to do so on paper. That was the first idea. And then we added a multilingual interface. First it was 3 languages, English, Esperanto, Dutch, because Dutch is my mother tongue. Yves, a friend of mine, added a Firefox search bar, so you can easily search. And then in November 2007 it became a little bit more serious, and we added a lot of terms. So 6,000 words at the time. And then when I made the first version of the book, this is the first book, this is the second one, I had the chance to collaborate with Laura Torre, which is an Italian Esperantist, that was also working on a list of translations from English to Italian and Esperanto, and he proofread my whole book and put in more quality. So it really became more serious at that moment. And now, so I've gone on each year, 2009, 2010, etc., up till April of this year. The last month I updated it, and now it's 8,800 translations into Esperanto. It's also.
But if you have these 8,800 translations into Esperanto, then you don't also have the same words in Dutch as well? Or?
Not that many.
Not that many.
I don't have time to update it all, so I'm looking for people to help me with this national language parts: Dutch, French, English, Dutch, French, and German.
I was looking for other people.
Yeah, people that can help me keep it up to date, because computer words come up all the time. Apple launches some watch, and then you have a taptic engine, for example, as a new word. How would you say it in those languages, for example?
And how do you normally reach out to people? Like, because I never heard of it until now.
How do you?
How do you reach out to people to help you with translations? Because until now I have never really heard of this word list or anything.
Yeah,
like
so I talk about it like I do now,
Yeah.
and mostly in Esperanto
Okay.
meetings I try to promote it.
Yeah.
I also distribute lists of computer words in several languages, and I collaborate with people that make dictionaries. So, for example, when the new the new dictionary of John Wells appeared, English Esperanto.
That's what I got here.
Yeah. But if you look in the beginning, it refers to Komputeko. So
I didn't know that.
yeah, I know. I make lists of about 300, 400 most used computer words, and I send it to those people that work with computers, so they have modern terms, modern words in their computer, because they're not always how shall I say, they base their work on earlier dictionaries. They compare, but they don't always have the recent words, so I try to help them about that. I also try to have a link with Wikipedia. So, for example, mousepad. Mousepad, see a link, it says Wikipedia. Wikipedia is Wikipedia in Esperanto.
Okay,
And if you click on that link, you go to the article about...
I saw a language mistake in this translation.
Yeah, then you can tell me later, so I can correct it, yeah. So the idea is that in Wikipedia you can the words of Komputeko can be used in articles. Also, I did a project on Wikipedia. If I can find a small booklet. Yeah. I wrote a little booklet about how to collaborate on Wikipedia, and the words are used in it. And I also helped someone, Zico van Dijk, perhaps you might know.
Zico van Dijk?
Yeah.
I know.
He wrote a book about Wikipedia too, and he sent me the manuscript, and I checked all the computer words, so he would use good terms. And yeah, it's that way that I promote correctly used terms in computers, and I try to help people, because Esperantists often are people that are programming computers, and when they learn Esperanto, the first thing they want to do is translate their own computer program into Esperanto, and so sometimes if they don't have access to the words, they invent them themselves, and it gets very messy. So now they have a decent website where they can find all the information. Also, I have collaborated with other people. So, for example, there was Komputeko woordlisto. So there was some list with about 300, 400 words from somewhere in Britain. Or, for example, in Flanders, someone made a list of about 150 words. So I contacted them and I said, yeah, I've integrated your words in my website. Can you refer to it? Because they were not updating their website, and now they put you can go to Komputeko for a more up-to-date version of this page, and several websites do that. And so they all promote this website Komputeko, and they all find it, and it's a very efficient way of promoting a website because it's all links, and Google puts it higher and higher in the list. So then people started asking me about a paper version. I said, yeah, it's 2010, 2011, who wants a paper version of a computer dictionary? Yeah, you can buy it for €6 now, because I have it here.
May I have a look at it?
Yeah, you can have a look. And so people... just what I need to do. And so I said, yeah, I might want to, I can create it because I knew an editor in Slovakia, Peter Balázs, that is here too. He could make it for me, but do people want it? So people said, yeah, I want it. I want to be able to use it offline. So if I'm not in front of a computer, or if I'm in front of the computer, I prefer a book to look up my words. I want to do proofreading, etc., etc. But the main thing that convinced me was Kiki Titgat. She told me, yeah, a translation of Shakespeare or the Bible won't convince people that Esperanto is a modern language that works, but a computer dictionary might help. If you can show it to promote Esperanto, say, yeah, look, everything can be said. It's like a marketing tool for the Esperanto movement. So then I said, okay, we can make this paper version, and people can also buy it and support us financially and everything. But I wasn't sure, so we launched a campaign to sell it before we would print it, and we found like 250 people that were prepared to pay for it. So okay, then we printed 500 copies, and in 6 months it was all sold, and we had to print a second edition. So I waited. So the first edition was in 2008, as this one, and I waited until 2012 to have a second edition. So there would be, it would be different enough, and there would be a lot of extra words, and it would be proofread decently. These are the covers of the two versions. I have some more to say about So what can be found in this book? There's also some tips and tricks for translators. It's called Lingvaj Consideroi in Esperanto. So what you should consider when translating software, for example, which words are tricky, and which words that people often make errors and stuff. It's here, page 9. So, for example, when I was translating software, A big issue was whether you translate the menu items as the infinitive of words or the imperative use. So do you say
El shuto, el shuti.
yeah, shutu, shutu. Yeah, exactly. So how can you say it in French, for example? Télécharger
Yeah.
avec R ou avec Z.
Yeah.
C'est ça. It's very important that you have consistency in software because in French it's different than in English. You have to choose before you start translating.
But for example, for like C, for example, I've usually seen like something like voir and not voyer or something.
Yeah.
So you know, like it's even in French, it's not like always consistent. Like
Yeah, but it should be if you have one software package, it should be consistent. There should be some logic behind it. And in Esperanto, it's like that. It's always the infinitive, unless you're speaking to the user directly. Like enter your password, that should be imperative. But all the rest should be infinitive. That was a whole discussion. Yeah. Yes. Also about majuscloi, so the capitals. In English, people use a lot of capitals in everything, but in Esperanto it's not done. In Dutch it's not done. In French it's not done. So you should pay attention. It's not just translating; it's localization. So you should really think about these things.
And don't forget in German that all the nouns are capitalized.
Yeah, that German is different also. Yes.
It's compulsory in German.
Yep. So I also added. So this is English, American English, in fact, Esperanto, and at the end I added a list of the most common words in 5 languages. And this list is also available on my website. Go to I think it's working. Yeah. There you have. Download a list of the most common computer words in 5 languages.
Yeah.
And then you have it ordered by Esperanto, English, Dutch, French, Czech, English, Dutch, French, Esperanto, Czech, or another one. It's very handy if you're working a lot if you're translating to different languages or you want to compare. You can perhaps try to download it. But I also need people to help me keep this list up to date. Which words are used the most? Can I zoom? Can you see it or is it?
It's very small. For me,
Maybe a
it's
little bit
almost
bigger.
small.
I cannot zoom in. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But it doesn't matter. You can have a look on your own afterwards. So it says, for example, accelerate, access, account, acquire, active window, address book, adjustment, administrator, alignment, all in one. It's about these common words. And I can imagine that polyglots are interested in having them in 5 languages. Yeah.
May I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Sorry if you've already answered this. What was the source for learning that these are the most common words?
It's just me.
So
I need people to help me.
Okay.
I was working as a translator for computer software.
Okay.
And I've been working with people that make dictionaries, especially in Esperanto.
Okay.
And they asked me to send them the 300 most commonly used words.
Okay.
It was a whole it took me
project.
many hours to try to feel what is the most used word. And when I did this job, I thought, yeah, I can make this list available for everyone. And I worked with a Czech guy that also translated to Czech, which is a language I do not speak, but it's interesting, I guess. But yeah, in the meantime, computer language has evolved. So, for example, to swipe is not in the list; it should be, but I didn't have time to evaluate the list. So if anyone wants to evaluate a list and tell me which words are superficial and which words should be added, I would be very pleased. Yeah. And what else is in this list? I also added the names in Esperanto for a double point, all these signs like minus, plus. So you can see the website. It's on page 118. So it's very difficult for people that speak Esperanto to know how it's called. Get rid of the site or what it called.
Okay.
So I added this in the book version.
So this is a book you've published?
I have published it, yeah.
Yes.
This is showing.
Okay.
And yeah. How would you call after Esperanto society? And so it's available for €6 if you want to. I also added some images from Wikipedia. How would you call operating system in Esperanto and processor and tablet and stuff. So with little images, headphone, and all these things, and some text. So the language is used. Yeah. So there have been some trials. We were very enthusiastic about the project. We contacted, we made a project for the European Union, and we contacted Mozilla Foundation to work with us. But unfortunately, we didn't succeed in convincing them that it was an interesting idea to do so. Because most websites are in two languages. English, Spanish, English, Catalan. But my website it compares the different languages. So that's pretty unique, and that's why we thought it would be a good idea. Like I'm checking where I can have a website. So you see, it's interesting, especially for polyglots, to be able to compare all these languages. And we wanted to build a database so people can choose their language and have all the languages they want in comparison. I really like the idea. But yeah, because I started also Polish version, Catalan version, and we have volunteers to work on it, etc. But yeah, in the end, I didn't have the project was not accepted, so we did not have the financial means to elaborate it. And also, at that time, I had another job and I had no time to work it out. But the idea still exists that one day we might do something like that.
And you still have these translations that they made previously? You still have them on the site somewhere, or?
I have them in Excel, just one big Excel file.
Oh, okay.
Catalan, Polish. Some guy also proposed to translate it into Russian sometimes, but if I don't have the website to make it and to keep it up to date, I really need a database before I can move on with it. So now the first thing I try to do is keep the Esperanto part at a high level, because that is the first aim of the project. And then Dutch is my mother tongue, so I add it. And German and French, I'm really looking for people that can help me point out where the errors are and the missing words. How can I translate? There are a lot of words missing.
Have you tried a crowdsourcing or a crowdfunding site for the, like the finances to support the project?
At this moment, I don't have enough time and energy, but one day it might
For all stuff.
Yeah, because I still believe in the idea.
Or a grant,
What?
maybe a grant, like some of the European grant.
That's what we tried, Grant. We tried it. We failed at it. We might retry it, but
They're crowdsourcing,
they-
crowdfunding.
crowdfunding.
They say why you didn't qualify.
I'm not sure. Most likely because we did not use the Commission's language. So not only should you apply in English, but you should apply in Commission English. So you have to use the words they use in
Yes.
order to. And now Peter Balas from Education and Internet, he works with someone that used to work at Commission and writes the applications for him, and now he succeeds. You know,
Yes.
it's really difficult to succeed
Yes.
in this, but it might work one day again.
The cursor and a mouse cursor.
Oh, it's the same. Well, but I don't have time to go into specific words. We can discuss later.
Did you say?
But I would be happy if you would give me feedback if you use it, the database, and you have words that are not correct or that should be added. Please let me know. This was not my presentation.
But for example, I see that for Dutch there are fewer translations than for English. Or
English is the source language,
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
and it's mainly translated into Esperanto and then into Dutch. Yeah. So we want an interactive website with feedback and with a forum, and we would like to add languages like Russian. So I still update the list. I updated it last month, but it's very complicated. It takes me an hour and a half to update the list. So I'll only do it once a year because there was no time to make it easier. I would like to work with a programmer that can help me to make it easier to update it. Also, the search engine is very basic, and the interface is only in 3 languages. I would like to add French and Spanish and other languages. And also, Education and Internet is working on a project to have Terminadonet, which means a collection of terms, of words. And we like to copy the same structure to other fields like architecture, education, have this. But yeah, we need volunteers and people that are interested to do so. Well, the problems are time, priorities, money. For me, yeah, Esperanto is a hobby, and Komputeko is also a hobby, so it should mainly be funny for me too. And I'm very happy that people actually use the website because it's, but it's not so easy. So let's say there's a lot of enthusiasm. But technically it's pretty complicated, and I still use the website from 2007. I just try to make it a little better. But people come to me and say, I want to help, but then they don't. And then they say, I want to help you translate it.
But how do you do it? You send an Excel table, and people can fill some translations.
Yeah, it's just
By
very
Excel?
basic. Yeah, Excel.
Okay.
It worked with one Russian guy that helped me add words in Esperanto that were missing, and he helped me until letter S. So that's pretty good. But I think I'll start, if people gets enthusiastic, I think I'll start with Z and go back.
Yeah.
So we have because now A, B, and C are really elaborated, and you understand. The rest is less elaborate.
And people help you translate. They translate from English to another language, or they can also translate from Dutch to another language.
You just can type it in any language. So you can even type it in German.
Yeah, for example.
For example, you type Taste,
Yeah, for example.
type Taste, and you have it searches for Taste, and you get it in the other languages.
Okay. So I could, for example, I know the Dutch word, and then I can check my Dutch dictionary to find the German word. Is that
Yeah.
possible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Search in the 5 languages.
Are these all computer words, like words related to computers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 8,800 of them.
Wow.
Yeah, in all this. So it's pretty much. I've been working on the first version for 2 years.
Okay.
It's very hard work, especially if you want the quality to be good. You have to discuss with lots of people. You have to be a member of all these translation teams. Yeah, it takes a lot of
To get
time.
the right, yeah.
But they use it, so it has become more or less the major reference for computer words in Esperanto.
And for example, your word list or Komputeko word list, is it being used by so many projects, like software projects, like open source or whatever?
Yeah, all the projects use it.
Like
Like Linux, like all this
Oh.
OpenOffice, Firefox, all these projects.
they've all standardized on your word list.
More or less. They don't always agree, but at least they can check
Yeah.
and make up their own opinion and contact me if they don't agree. Because I don't. Sometimes I have alternative translations. See, Fulmo is what they use in Plone. I don't know what Plone is anymore, but Alide Clavo is what they use in Firefox translation team. So I add all the alternatives, up to 3 alternative forms. If it's
Are you able to see how many hits you get to the website?
Before I was, but there was a technical problem. But only there is an article in English, in the English Wikipedia, and that article was read by 280 people in the last month, so people are interested in it. When the statistic tool was still working, there were about 10 to 30 people a day that were accessing the website. It's not huge, but it's still people from Japan, from South America, from all over the world are using it. So I'm happy because I put in a lot of time and energy to make it. So it's good.
And do you know who those people are? Are they computer programmers? Are they gamers?
So a lot of people that speak Esperanto are also programmers.
Oh,
They
really? Okay.
and they program their own software, and then they want to translate it into Esperanto. And before, when they wanted to look it up in the dictionary, they couldn't find the words because they didn't exist. And now they can look them up, and the quality of their translations is better. I also work with the people that make the dictionaries to include the words, so things get better. I can help with, to improve. That's about it. So if you're interested, I have 5 copies of it, and Peter Balash has some more, so you can buy it for €6. Yeah, that's it.